I'm Rabbi Alan Tufts, and I'm speaking to you from my study here at Temple Bethel in Hollywood, Florida. Our Torah portion this week is Balak, and it can be found beginning with the second verse of the 22nd chapter of the book of Numbers. And now, if you happen to have the revised edition of the URJ Torah commentary, you can find it on page 1052. Now, this Torah portion contains that famous story about Balaam. Balaam was a soothsayer, a very famous soothsayer in the Middle East. And as the Jews were approaching the Promised Land, they were going to go past the country of Moab. King Balak, after whom the portion is named, is frightened of the Jews, and he wants Balaam to curse them. And so after a lot of cajoling, after lavishing Balaam with all sorts of beautiful gifts, Balaam agrees to this mission. Now, the story goes this way, that Balaam mounts his donkey and sets off for this mission of cursing the Jews. Now, along the way, an angel stations himself in the road. Now, Balaam cannot see the angel, but the donkey can, and the donkey turns off the road and refuses to go forward. Balaam gets off of his donkey and beats him not once, not twice, but 3 times. And finally, the donkey speaks in human words, saying, "Why have you beat me these 3 times? What have I done to you?" Balaam looks ahead and he sees the angel. And the angel tells him that it is okay to proceed, but he is not to say anything other than what the angel instructs him to say. Now, we're told in this Torah portion that Balaam tries to curse the Jewish people 4 times, but to Balak's horror, Balaam cannot utter a curse. Every time he opens his mouth, he blesses the Jews. In this Torah portion, we come across those famous words that are sung in almost every synagogue in the world during morning services. Ma tovu ohalecha Yaakov, mishkanotecha Yisrael. How beautiful are your tents, O Jacob, your dwelling places, O Israel. Another passage that we come across in this Torah portion contains the words that the Jews are a people that dwells apart, that is not counted among the other peoples. Think about that. Think of those words. Let me repeat them. We are a people that dwells apart, not counted among the other peoples. Now, this verse has often been interpreted as referring to the chosenness of the Jewish people. It refers to us as, quote unquote, the chosen people. Now, that term, chosenness, has been part of our self-understanding for centuries, and it has also been part of the way that other peoples have understood who we are. Sometimes we have been respected and honored for that unique role that we have as the chosen people. Sometimes, however, we have suffered because of that term. Our adversaries often have said to us, or said about us, those Jews are an arrogant people. Look, they call themselves the chosen people, and they've used this as a pretext to persecute us. Many Jews have wondered whether this special status as the chosen people is worth the suffering. You remember Fiddler on the Roof? Tevye says, "Oh God, we're the chosen people, but could you choose someone else once in a while?" We have to understand that to be chosen does not mean that we are better than anyone else. It means simply that more is expected of us, that we expect more from ourselves. It means that we Jews sense that there are aspects of God's truth and God's work in this world that befalls us as a people. Now, could it be that others might also be chosen for some special role in God's plan for humanity? My teacher, Rabbi David Hartman, the founder of the Hartman Institute in Jerusalem, wrote a book which he called A Living Covenant, in which he puts forth the case for a modern liberal approach to Orthodox Judaism. When the editor asked him why he did not call it the Living Covenant instead of a Living Covenant, he simply replied, "All I can say is, it is a living covenant." Now, listen to those words. Listen to what they mean or what they imply. What Rabbi Hartman was implying is that the Jews are definitely the chosen people, but there is a possibility that others, perhaps the Christians, the Muslims, the Buddhists, the Hindus, they too might in their own way have a special role in God's plan. We Jews should not run away from that title of the chosen people, but we should embrace it. We should embrace it, however, with humility. And we should also know that choosing goes both ways. God has chosen us to fulfill the mitzvot of Jewish life, but it is up to us to accept the gift of chosenness and to choose to serve God. There is an old saying that goes, "How odd of God to choose the Jews." Now the answer, of course, is, it's not so odd. The Jews chose God. Shabbat Shalom.